Sunglasses always make someone look like a douche. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't even see. There we go. I can see, sort of. Alright. Welcome, friends. Lost Scarf here, and it's time for the vlog. And do I look like a douche? I think the answer is yes. Okay, so, the hell was that? Seriously, how do you not, like, sunglasses just always look douchey. That's just how it is. I don't know if that's just the biological instinct or people have just over time through culture made sunglasses douchey. I don't know. But they're always douchey. Okay. Using these right now because, okay, so we're gonna go over just personal stuff real quick, and then we're gonna go over the topic. Using these glasses right now because the other glasses are just putting real bad dents in my nose and my head, and I want to give that some time to heal back. I don't know. I don't like the look of dents in your face from glass. That's the only reason why I'm considering contacts, is just so those dents can heal back. That's the only reason. I actually don't even know if the dents heal back. I'm wearing these sunglasses right now just because this is another form of glasses I have. These are the same prescription, so I'm wearing them. I forgot I have these. I've had these for 3 years now, and I keep forgetting I have them. Because, just wearing regular glasses. I should switch between the two on occasion, just to give more, again with the dents, that's about it. Also, because, sun, you can get cancer in the eyes from the sun. You can do that. By the way, you can also get sunburnt in the eyes, which is insane, but it's a thing that can happen. I don't know how you pull that out. Well, actually, it happens a lot in, I think, Alaska, or, like, somewhere north, where from the driving, there's a lot of the sunlight reflecting off the ice, and that actually just magnifies it a bit, and so it makes it even worse for your eyes. It's kind of crazy. It's nuts. But you can get sunburnt and eye cancer, so yeah. Random fact, Hugh Jackman's gotten skin cancer 5 times? Dude loves the sun. Just a lot. A lot. Okay, so, things with the channel really quick, then we'll go over the topic. So, the channel. Let's see here. So, okay, Scarf is off work for 1 more month due to physical therapy. By the way, physical therapy is painful. I'm at a 1 or a 2 right now on pain. It's nice to have a 0, which is, normal life, but not there right now. Trying to get stronger. I'm barely at 15 pounds. I can barely lift 15 pounds off the ground. That's scary to me as someone who used to be able to do, hundreds of pounds. So, but I asked my doctor, he said, it's perfectly possible to get back to, like, a percentage, like, 90% of what you used to be able to do, but there's no 100% anymore. I cannot be as strong as I used to be ever again, which is very depressing. But that is life for you. That is what happens when someone rams into your car, and you did not see it coming because you were at a red light, and why would you see a car crash coming, right? So that's happening. So 1 more month I'll be back at work, and we'll see how that affects the schedule. Right now I've just had a lot of free time to do things, and to be honest, I got a lot more done while I was working than I'm getting done now, which is so weird. It's just because I have all this free time, I don't understand it, but I'm just not getting as much done as I used to when I was at work, and it's weird. I think when you have some form of busyness or time constraint, it just makes you more effective at utilizing your time. Since I have all this free time, I've been wasting a lot of it, I guess. So, I don't know. I don't know. Also, because I'm just home all the time, it's family expecting me to do things, so there's also that as well, so I just keep having to do things, and that just gets less done. But I'm going to use the rest of January to get these special projects I've been wanting to do done, and then February will come around, and I'll be back to normalcy, and I'll reorganize my life again. We'll see how that all goes. The topic this week could have gone 2 ways. 3 ways. One was just going on again more about political stuff, which we're probably tired of. We're all tired of it, I'm sure. Could have gone over that. The only thing I want to say about that is I'm enjoying all the videos of traitors being arrested. That is very nice. I'm enjoying those videos. I really am. Maybe you shouldn't have live streamed being a traitor. That's probably was a bad idea, but a lot of people did. Live streamed it, they recorded it, this and that. Very well-known right-wing people who live streamed themselves finally got arrested, which is weird because you figure like they would have gotten caught earlier. But maybe they didn't go for them earlier because they knew they could get them later because, well, they live streamed it. Like, all their information's right there. The FBI knows exactly where to go. So they could have waited for later to get those guys. And just the double standard and hypocrisy going on with things. It's very frustrating. It's nice to see that when it comes to, being a traitor, the authorities take that very seriously. So, because you have to. Because if you do not go after these traitors as hard as you should, then what are the consequences to that? That's why the whole thing... I'm going over politics real quick now. That's why the whole thing of like, well, if we want to have the nation heal, we should pardon Trump, which makes no damn sense. It's very childish. This is what's been frustrating me with the right, is they've been doing a lot of very childish things the last couple of years. Whataboutism is very childish. He's like, all right, you did a bad thing, so you need to be punished. And he's like, what about this other guy? But what about Timmy? Timmy also, did bad shit. Come on now. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter what Timmy did. You also did something bad. You should be punished too. That's what's wrong with whataboutism. It doesn't make any sense what whataboutism is. It's like, all right, so I did something bad, but what about this other bullshit? And it's like, yeah. It doesn't undo that you did bad shit. So you should be punished for that crap. It's very much that. Politics should not be treated as sports teams. Like, whenever your team does penalties and they don't get noticed, you're like, that's amazing. But when the same thing happens to the other team, you want those penalties to happen. Like, that's not great. It should be across the board the same justice. It's just a very childish thing what happens with politics, and the right does a lot more than the left. The left does some childish things as well, but the right has done a lot more childish things in like recent history for damn sure. I really wish politics was not as childish as it was, but it is. As it is, not as it was. It definitely is very childish, but it's always been petty. Politics in America has always been pretty petty and very childish in a lot of ways, but it just keeps finding a even younger age to be. It becomes even more infantile as it goes, which is very frustrating because it should never be infantile. It should be very serious, and yet it is not. And I'm sure these sunglasses are not helping my message. I have no idea. Honestly, with these sunglasses on, I feel like being more dickish. This is weird. Okay, these are weird to have on. The other thing I could have talked about, which I'll talk about really quick instead, is my garage got flooded, so lots of water damage. And as someone who has a hurt back, I could not carry a lot of boxes. Like, a lot of people use garage as storage units, right? And I'm no different. There's a lot of stuff in there that I was using storage. My family also had a lot of things in there. And there's a bunch of water damage, and I could not be as helpful with my family, which was very frustrating. Since, as I said before, I could barely lift 15 pounds. So there's not much I could do. I could, like, sift through stuff and see what's damaged, but I couldn't really carry boxes. And that was very frustrating. I look so lazy when it's more I'm just unable, which is a very frustrating thing. It's extremely frustrating. I could talk about things from in there, but I'll talk about a little bit. So, my life is in that garage. So just things from youth. Like, I have a journal from when I was 17 years old in there. And I'm like, oh shit, I have this. And I looked at it a little bit, I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see what I was half my age. Forget that. Although I remember part of it. I'm 34. I'm twice that age now. There's a weird thing, because I have friends. Like, I have teenager friends. I'm twice the age of some of my friends. And I don't know if I'm right to overthink or underthink about... Well, overthink about it is just like, well, I gotta be careful what I say to teenagers, because there is very much a lot of gross adults who've done gross things to teenagers, and I don't want to be that. I think as long as I'm worried about that, I won't do that. Because, like, being a YouTuber, you're always around teenagers. You're always around younger folks. There are older people, of course, but you're always around younger kids. And I want to be something positive, not something scary or negative towards younger kids. Random fact, the Wiggles? I think they're called the Wiggles. So the Wiggles are this, like, very popular... I don't know if they still are. They're very popular. I think they were a Disney group, I forget. But they're very popular with kids. And the way they took photos was with this, with, like, finger guns. And the reason why they did this was so you always knew where their hands were. So you didn't, like, misconstrue, like, their hands were grabbing parts of children. That was the reason behind this. And that is very depressing in a way. Like, it's like, wow, they had to protect themselves. They're like, you know where my hands are? So that was the pose. Like, wow. And you'll have, like, there's certain actors, I forget which ones they are right now, where when they take photos, they always make sure the pictures, like, their arms around the person, but they never touch the ladies. It's always like they're like this, like around. You can't see my arm because of Kirby, but like they're like around the person, but you can. They make sure you can tell they're not actually touching them. Like in the photos, they just perfectly have it where you can tell. And if they're not taller than the person, then their hands are just like right here, like at their waist or something. They always make sure you know where their hands are, because there have been controversies of where you can only see one person's hand, and then the other hand is you don't know where it is. And whether it's truth or lie, it's been said this hand was doing something to a lady and things like that. It's very depressing how things are, but the truth of the matter is people do suck, and it's unfortunate, and we can't always think optimistically on the actions of others. So these aren't the main topics. These are just me rambling into things, because of course I am. Those were not the main topics. The main topic I want to talk about today comes back to water, because I haven't done water in a while, so I should talk about water for a little bit. And that is misconceptions about water. Now, we'll go over this for only less than 10 minutes. This will be a 20-minute vlog, and then we're done. Oh, one thing real quick before the main topic. I saw WandaVision 1 and 2. Not a big fan of the premise, but there have been some really good jokes in there. So there's been some solid writing in there. But it's really weird. It's weird. Okay. Let's talk about water. There have been some misconceptions about water. So, people have Brita filters, right? They have Brita filters in their, at the spout of their sink. They have Brita filters that they just have like big jugs of it and everything to put tap water in and everything. Now, depending on your state and country, that is maybe or maybe not necessary. It really depends on where you are and depends on how well your water system works out. If you're in California, for the most part, you're pretty good. The only city I'd be worried about as far as the big cities go is LA. LA has pipes that they're relying on surviving for 300 years. They've said this before, because the whole idea is they just have so many pipes and they're just getting to pipes. They're constantly doing pipe turnover, but they need some of these pipes last 300 years before they can get to them again. What normally happens is some pipe breaks in the city and they're going to have to dig it up and work on it, and then they'll go back to whatever they had scheduled. That's what happens. So it's very much the squeaky wheel will get the grease because it needs to, because, well, it burst. You got to keep the water going before you go back to regular maintenancing of pipes. That LA is one example of that. So I don't know what that speaks to how safe the water is, but people do like to use LA as an example of water not being very great. Now, if you're in San Diego, your water is perfectly good. There are like a dozen water companies down here, and they all do a very good job. They're all competing with each other, and so they're always trying to one-up each other. California is one of the most high-level places for water purification. The only place that's more high-level, or just as high-level, is Texas. You're never going to find Texas saying California is better. You're going to find California saying Texas is better. They're going to say they're about the same level. And really, you'd have to be someone who worked both states to really know. The reason why California is so high level is because California, water has been important to the entire existence of California. Without water, California could not become what it was, what it's been. Also because of its sources of water. Like the Colorado River is a big source for California, and California is the last one to get the water, so California, of course, has to make the water better than everyone else because they're the last ones to get it. Because the truth of the matter is, there's like 7 or 8 states that take from Colorado River. They take from the river and they dump back into the river. So obviously, if you're having the leavings of everyone else, you're gonna make your stuff as good as possible. And so California's water is the cleanest because it gets the dirtiest water. So they work really hard for it. The reason why Texas is because Texas has like 5,000 rivers and lakes and things. They have 5,000 bodies of water. So since they have so many, they need to have really good regulations because there's just such variance in what these degrees of these rivers and lakes can be to clean up. So they have a lot of different rules there for how they do things. And we have a lot of rivers and lakes across California too, because it's a big-ass state too. But our big thing is because of our source waters, more than anything else. Now, so one state you really don't want to drink from the tap from is you really like Florida. Florida has a lot of limestone, so there's a lot of just, the water doesn't taste great. So for the most part, bottled water is a scam. There's only one reason you should buy bottled water, or 2 reasons. One is you really don't have good access to water, and that does happen. There are some like little towns where they don't have good access to water, and they have to import water in. So you can get bottled water. That's one thing you can do so that you're at least having some drinking water you may enjoy. And the other one is that reason as well is because you prefer the taste. Water has different taste depending where it's coming from. I swear, some places the water tastes kind of sweet, some places it tastes a little sour, and that's because of what's in the water. There's different minerals in the water. There's different chemicals that can possibly be in the water as well. And because of that, it affects the taste of water. The thing is, the vast majority of bottled water is tap water. It really is. It's just tap water from some other place, and they just package it as it's something else. That it's from a spring or this or that, but it really isn't from a spring. It's actually just tap water taken from another city, and they're just packaging it. It's really bad. The regulations on bottled water could be a lot better than it is. Like, I like Fiji water. It tastes a little sweeter. I'm really curious where they get their water from and what they do to it. I highly doubt it's actually from Fiji. Because, well, come on. But it does taste a little sweeter, and so I like Fiji water. I don't really like Costco's water. It's got a weird... It does taste a little plasticky, and I wonder if plastic really leaches into it or not. And that's one of the other problems with bottled water is plastic can leach into the water. It really can be a thing. Crystal Geyser's not bad. It's a very boring taste, but it's alright. Now, there are bajillions. By the way, Dasani is awful. I hate the taste of Dasani. I also hate the taste of Aquafina. I know how they do the purification of that water, though. They use reverse osmosis, which is a very good process. Reverse osmosis is how you would purify ocean water. We have a Poseidon plant. It's called the Poseidon plant. So it's a plant that pulls out 500 million gallons of water from the ocean. 500 million. And it runs it through a bunch of different straining situations, and reverse osmosis is one of them. And what it does, it literally strains out to the point that only H2O comes out. Only H's and O's come out. That's what they do. And so this water is super duper pure, and that's what Aquafina does as well. And so the water's super duper pure, and then it needs to be dirtied up a little bit, because if the water's super pure, it tries to pull the minerals out of everything around it. And so if you were to drink ultra pure water, it would try to pull the minerals out of your body. So the water does have to get dirtied up a little bit. And usually you just mix it with regular water to do that. Or you mix it in a lake for like a year. Like that's what the city of San Diego is going to do, is they're going to get ultra pure water and they're going to mix it into a reservoir for like a year turnover kind of thing. And it'll be all right, and things should work out. At least that's the theory, but it could go south. In south in that, not for us, for consumption, but south in that it could kill the fish in reservoirs. So then there's less bodies of water for fishermen, which fishermen do care about, but it will be safe to drink by the time it gets to a person. It just won't be safe for fish, is all. Because of just the way this water works. Like, ultra pure water is so pure, it stays at the top of the water. Like, was it bipolar, whatever the right word is, where you have oil and water, it's the same kind of situation. It's up here. So you have to do some churning processes to get the water deeper into regular water, and then it becomes regular water as well. So the Poseidon plant takes out 500 million gallons of water from the ocean, makes only 50 million, 1/10 of it, into pure water. So there's 50 million pure water every day gets made by this plant, and the other 450 gets dumped back out. Because there's a lot of salt being removed and everything from that, so you need a lot of water to just purify, not purify, but to mix up the salt that got pulled out of the water. Because if you didn't have all this water to basically dilute the salt that you pulled out, you would have this big just salt dump right at the end of the plant, and that'd be really bad for all the fish in the area. The whole idea is you have all this excess water to pull from and to push out with, so that you don't just damage the environment. Because obviously environmentalists care about this stuff. Like, they care about the salinity of the water and stuff like that. So that's why you pull out so much, make so little, and then push so much back out. So, bringing up Brita filters, the main thing is, also alkaline water and mineral water. So, alkaline water is a scam as well. You do not want to drink alkaline water. There's no reason for it unless you have a medical condition. Now, there are medical reasons why you should drink alkaline water, and your doctor would tell you. If your doctor tells you to drink alkaline water, that's the only reason to do it. If you don't have that reason, you're just wasting money buying alkaline water. Because alkaline water is just a little basic water. That's it. It's supposed to like help with the acid in your blood. No. No. That's not how we work. That's not how we work at all. I would be curious actually to see what alkaline water would do to someone who's on a keto diet. That would be curious. But no, you don't. It's waste your money. Mineral water is also waste your money if you're not getting your minerals from other sources. But you get your minerals from plenty of sources. You get it from plants. You get it from plants. So you get it from vegetables and fruits. You get it from meat. You get your minerals from a lot of places. If you're taking a multivitamin, you don't need mineral water at all anyway. Mineral water is only useful if you are missing something. And it has that specific mineral that you need. If it doesn't have the mineral you need, then, well, it's a waste of your money. That's all it's good for. That's all mineral water is good for, is if you're missing something. The same thing with alkaline water. If you actually needed alkaline water, that's it. If you're buying it to be healthy, you're wasting your damn money. You really are. So why... Okay, let's talk about Brita filters real quick. So, I get asked questions about water, because of course I do. And they're like, well, what's this black stuff coming out of the Brita filter? It's like, isn't this like... It's like impurities in the water? And it's like, well, one thing is you need impurities in your water, because your body will use them. That's a thing. But there's also impurities that just, it's used for different reasons, for different things. Honestly, the only thing that doesn't need to be in the water that's in the water is the fluoride. And it exists for political reasons. It exists because people make money off of it. It does not exist for health reasons. You don't have to worry about drinking too much fluoride because you have to drink... You would get sick from drinking too much water before you get sick from drinking too much fluoride. That's the honest truth about it. Brita filters take out the chlorine in water. They take out... iron, they take out manganese, they take out zinc, they take out copper, they take out lead. That's what a Brita filter does. You should never have lead and copper in your water in the first place. The only place that had it, the only place that has it right now is Flint, Michigan, for what the things that happened, because pipes have lead and copper in them, and the water was getting corroded, and it was coming out, and people were drinking it. In a regular water system, the lead and copper... That's only if there's lead and copper pipes at all, should not be leaking into the water. There are many things a water plant does to make that not happen. Or a water system does to make that not happen. One is, before the water leaves the plant and goes into the system's pipes, we make the water a little bit more So there's a difference between corrosion and acid, and there's a difference between basic and scale forming. But the idea is we make the water not corrosive. Because water likes to pull things apart. You put bread in water, it's just ripping that bread apart, right? Like, that's the kind of thing. You put anything in water, it rips it apart. That's what happens. So we... we're getting going long, so I don't want to go into chemicals too much. But we do stuff to the water so that it forms a scale on the pipes from the inside as it's going through the water system towards you. So what that does is it puts a protective coating along the pipe from the inside, so it helps the pipe with not cracking, or even if there's some damage on the outside, it doesn't get to the inside, kind of thing. It's a coating. It's the best way to put it. It's a coating. I'm going to say it. It's a condom around the inside of the pipe. That's what it is. That's the way I'm going to put it. Around the inside of the pipe, caused by the water being made as it's heading towards you. And so, even if the pipe's made out of lead, or if the pipe's made out of copper, it should not get into the water supply because of this coating. The only way that would happen is if the water was more corrosive, like what happened with Flint, or if it wasn't treated well enough to create the coating, things like that. Because something happens in the other direction is, after years and years, this is why pipes need to be cleaned out at times, is after years and years of this coating, it can create layers and layers and layers to the point that there's not much room for water to go through. And this requires a thing called pigging, where they just blow a bunch of water through the pipe to flush it out and get all that scale out, and then you can rescale it again and everything and be protective again and everything. Of course, before they do that, they want to make sure the pipe's perfectly fine. And so there's just a coating on the inside. So even if you have lead and copper pipes, it shouldn't get into the water and you won't be drinking it. I can tell you for sure, California's very good about that. It's extremely rare for California. Not California. San Diego's very good about that. It's very rare for San Diego. Other states, Can't really tell you. That's the one thing. I can't say an authority on other states because how they do things. But of course, the big example of it going wrong is Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan is they had corrosive water. It ate up all the pipes, and people were drinking the lead and copper because of that. So a Brita filter would not be useful for us. It'd be useful for places where you're not really sure about the piping. Now, the one thing is, a water system cannot control the pipes in a house or an apartment complex. It stops at the curb. The pipes beyond that point, that's on you or whoever owns your property. So if you have lead and copper in your water, it's because whoever owns that property is not managing their pipes well enough, is not repairing the pipes, is not replacing the pipes. That's an important thing to know. So basically, a Brita filter is not really useful. So what's the black stuff in a Brita filter? The black stuff is usually the charcoal that's by the Brita filter itself. Also, it could be iron and manganese. That's also a thing that can be in there. Iron and manganese is in the water usually, and we can drink it. And it's the stuff that makes your shower curtains brown and red. That's what, when shower curtains go brown and red, that's the iron from the water. That's what's doing that. And that's fine. We can drink that stuff. Depending on how much there is, it would cause metallic taste to the water. But usually a lot of iron gets removed before it gets to the consumer. But if you want none of it at all, a Brita filter can take that out. Chlorine is the same thing. If you drink from the tap, you can remove the chlorine using the Brita filter, and that's perfectly fine to do that. Chlorine is very important. You, again, just like with fluoride, you'd be ODing on water before you'd OD on chlorine from water, in the water. It's there to protect you. The chlorine is used to prevent bacteria and viruses from getting into the water. It's a form of protection. Everything that's done is a form of protection in some way. Besides fluoride. Fluoride is not a form of protection in any way in our day and age. Chlorine is there to make sure nothing gets into the water. That's what it's for. And we can drink the amount of chlorine that's in tap water because it's not really that much. You would get sick from the water before you get sick from the chlorine. Now, there are some things, because it is a chemical, with the regulations, because California's very big about this can cause cancer. Everything can cause cancer. For the chlorine in the water, it's about... one person out of every it's less than 1 million, but just like has a chance of getting cancer from it. It's the same thing with just like coffee. You have a chance of getting cancer from coffee. You have a chance of getting coffee from the sun. You have a chance of getting cancer from everything on the planet. And so this is just, it's the good versus the bad is, would you rather have this thing that may give you cancer 1 in a bajillion chance, or would you rather have viruses and bacteria and all this stuff in your water? That's really what the trade-off is there. At the end of the day is, more people would die if we didn't treat the water versus if we had the chlorine that's in the water. And I've gone so long. There's the problem with the sunglasses. I can't see the time that well. Okay. I've gone long enough. I've told you a little bit about water and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if one day I decided to do just some little water channel just to exist to explain things better, and it's just there for posterity and people can learn water. That could happen someday if at some point we're just like, everything with the channel's good enough, let's just make another, I just want to make another channel, get this all down and out there and everything, and just so people understand water better. Because a big problem with the water videos out there is they're very dry and boring, and I wouldn't want to punch them up with like cartoons or anything, but just find a way to explain it well and not too dry is something that's worth doing, just for posterity, just for knowledge's sake, not for, hey, maybe we could popular doing a water thing. No. Really. That's it for the vlog. I went longer than I planned. I can't. So here's a weird thing. Jynx can probably explain this to me, is like why this is, but like with these sunglasses, part of the monitor is just blocked off to me. I have to move my eyes to be able to see different parts of it, and I don't understand. I am definitely Steve wondering it right now, aren't I? But yeah, like I can see the screen clearly in this angle, but over here, and part of the screen's blackened. And I wonder what is causing that. I'm not really sure. But I get my phone, it's perfectly fine. Everything else does not have that situation. So there's something with just the monitor refresh rate, whatever it is, I don't know. I can't see everything unless I do weird movements in my head. There we go. That is the vlog. Gone on long enough. Basically, you should not need a Brita filter. It's really more for peace of mind than anything. You do not need alkaline water unless your doctor prescribes it. Mineral water you do not need unless you're actually just not consuming something that you need. And you're better off taking multivitamin instead of bottled water in the first place for that. You really should only be buying bottled water for taste, and that's it. Because you like the taste of certain water, if you like the taste of Voss, if you like the taste of Dasani, if you like the taste of Fiji, if you just like the taste of the water, go for it. But if you're trying to be holier than thou and act like your water's better than other people's water, you're wasting your damn money, really, at the end of the day. Or, of course, if you need water because you don't have a good source of water, like you're in a desert or something. It's the only reason to get bottled water. That's the vlog. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. That's what's up, as it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.